Hello and welcome to Tricks of the Traders channel. And Today is the 16th of February 2017, and today's video is about Amal Clooney, Judge Clooney's wife. Um, as I always say before I get on the video and talk, I always like to let people know that I'm not against transgenders, okay? If you're of age and you're an adult and you say you want to live life in the sex that's not the sex that you were born with, I mean, that's totally up to you. God has given everybody the right to live life the way they want. I am not the judge. I'll never be the judge. I'm just here to expose that there is an organization that's taking kids, right? And castrating and mutilating these kids and forcing them, feeding them hormones and forcing them to live in a sex that's different from the sex that they were born in. You have them spread across all tiers and aspects of life. You have them in politics, you have them in religion, pastors, ministers, you have them across the field in politics, science, academia, wherever you might think of. And they're spread all around. And like I've always said, there's a reason for that. Because, and I'll always recommend that you watch the primer video on this channel and that you also download the documents that's going to be attached to every video that we make for you to read and understand. But primarily, one of the reasons why the children are transgender at a very early age, like I said, is because they have to protect the kings. All right? Because they can't produce children, so they don't have a say on, like, the kingship, if there is such a thing as a king in the world right now, which we do have in the form of the Pope. Okay. And that makes it that there are, you know trusted, verified and vetted people that will not rock the boat, because when you take a man's genitals away from him, you take away the ability of that man to function as a normal, regular human being. And the man also can't function as a woman because he can't give birth. So when that happens, you have to create an alternate reality for him to live in. And so the reality you create for him becomes his life. It becomes his reason for being alive. So he will do everything that is expected of him in this alternate reality, because they will have a different worldview from regular people, because they can't function like regular people. And then also because of art, art also made this a form that they could use, because especially it was about music, something that the Roman Catholic Church did a lot, taking young boys and castrating them gave them a high vocal range as they grew up, because their lung capacity grew up normally, and they could sing different types of vocals. And with art taking a part of that, so it crept into also acting and different other stuff, because a lot of families started getting involved with it, taking their sons and castrating them in the hopes that they would be rich in Hollywood. So this has been going on in society for a very long time, and it's still very prevalent today in a society. But when you want to come close to this world, the place that you can come close most to is in Hollywood. If you get into politics, you will see the same thing. A lot of people that you see on TV are not who they claim they are. And like I've always said, the people who are the hams of this organization is the Vatican. Because let me just tell you a short story, so you can make you understand a lot of stuff. So If you've ever watched Devil's Advocate, it's a movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. If you've ever watched that movie, you will remember that Keanu Reeves' mother in the movie told him at one point in time that Al Pacino was his father. All right? And when Al Pacino met Keanu Reeves in the movie, he said that he's always been watching him. How does he think that he got all the jobs and won all the cases that he did that made him arrive at the point of him leading the greatest law firm in the world? So in the same case, this is how this organization works. They might take a child, all right? Let's say the child could be a surrogate child. That means created in a lab with different, with them choosing the genetic qualities that they desire of that child, be it male or female, right? And when the child is born, they will castrate the child, all right? Maybe a few months in. And then they'll give this child over to a family. The family is probably paid, all right, to take care of that child and grow that child as one of your own, as a member of that family, all right? And then they'll be watching over the child from a distance, in the sense that they'll be taking care of the child, his hospital visits, his school, and everything. So this child will grow up thinking that he's a natural born child, but they'll be making the moves for the child to make sure that he or she succeeds. That means he gets to the right schools, he gets to the right places, he meets the right people, and they watch from a distance and make sure that all this goes on until the child reaches the point in which they can now, use him for whatever purpose that they designed him or she for. At that point in time, they may reveal. So all of a sudden, the child can, when he grows up, he now finds himself being among the hierarchy, of of the world, and he will think that he's a normal kid. So he fits into that society. So this is how these things are organized. Like I've said before, they have hospitals, they have the media, they own the media because the Vatican owns everything. They have the technology, they own the family, they own Hollywood. So all of this keeps going on and on. So with that said, let's get in today's video, which is about Amal Clooney. Now, before I start, all right, I just want to let you know that, some men in Hollywood are homosexual. And some men prefer that the homosexual man that they're dealing with have breasts and look like a female. So to deceive you. All right? So that you can be more comfortable with, their homosexuality. So here's a look at Amal Clooney, George Clooney's wife. And as you can see, the hands here are very large. Like I always tell people in all my videos, right? If you take a look at the hands, you will see how large they are, right? So if you look at a man's hand compared to a female's hand, a man's hand would always fill it will fill up his whole face. It will just leave just a very little bit of it left. In a female, it will fill up and leave like 3/4 of the face. Sorry, we'll fill it up and leave like 1/4 of the face. 3/4 are going to be filled, all right? Now let's take a look at some more pictures to prove you that Amal Clooney is a dude, okay? All right? Now, here is Amal Clooney with George Clooney. Now, we would compare the skulls. But remember, like I've said in my other videos, that when comparing skulls, you have to compare skulls of the same ethnicity. We can't compare the skulls of Amal Clooney and George Clooney because Amal Clooney is Arabian in ethnicity, and George Clooney is white or Caucasian in ethnicity. So the skulls wouldn't match for us to make that comparison. So what we're taking a look right here is looking at the knees. You see how the angles of these knees are? A female's knees shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't create this kind of sharp, harsh edges by the knees. So I'm gonna show you a picture of how a woman's knees, usually bend when they're in heels or when they sit. Okay, just bear with me for a second. Okay, and here we go. Now here is a woman's knees. As you can see, this woman is standing. There's a woman. She has an arch in her back that curves and comes out to her pelvis, into her buttocks area, right? Into her butt area. Can you see the knees here and how it bends? Female don't create those kind of angles because a man's kneecap is longer, all right? A man has more kneecap than a female. So it creates odd angles when he stands. Can you see how this knee bends? The angles are softer, right? You don't see a lot of kneecap around the knees, right? Okay, let's show you another picture. See how the knees bend? It's smooth. It's not causing sharp angles. This is a female right here. She's in heels, right? See how the knees bend? It's smoothing out. It's not creating any sharp angles like a man would. I'm showing you some more pictures of a female. She's a female in heels. You see less kneecap appearance because a man always has more kneecap than a female. And see how the angle she's creating? It's smooth. It's not hard. It's not sharp. It's not harsh at all. And she's in heels. Can you see that? Show you some more pictures of a female in heels. Okay. Now there's a female in heels and look at the knees, right? Can you see that? Okay. Some more pictures. Can you see that? This is a female in heels sitting. So whether she's sitting, standing, or whatever, the angle she creates in her knees is not going to be as sharp and edged as a man's own. Can you see that right here? Okay, some more pictures again. Look at how she sits. Can you see the angle a woman gives when she sits, right? You can tell it's female from the way it sits, right? With the angle on the knees, you see less kneecap. You don't see a lot of kneecap appearing, okay? So let's go back to Amal Clooney, or George Clooney's wife. Now you can see how, she has an eyebrow ridge right here, which is a male trait that makes a man's eyes sit deeply in his socket, all right? You can see the neck area and now how it's stretched out and it's muscular in nature because like I always say, if you have something heavy on top, you have to have a wide base and a strong base to support that heavy thing on top. So a man's skull is heavier than a woman because a man's skull has 10% more brain than a female at the most. At the least, sorry. At the least, it will have 10% more brain. So it requires a bigger and heavier skull for all that brain matter. Does it make sense now? Let's go forward. More pictures. Now look at the hands again, like I always say, all right? If you were to cut off Amal Clooney's hands here, right? Just at the wrist, right? And place it all in the face, it would fill up the whole entire length of the face. And just leave just a quarter, and just leave very little out if it leaves anything at all. All right? Let's go further. And you can look at the neck. Can you see the strong neck? Wide neck right here? Okay. Look at the way she walks. Can you see that? Those are not female knees. See the angles she creates? I just showed you a picture of how a female knee should be like. All right? Can you see the face? Can you see the neck? Now, one of the tricks of being a tranny, tricks of the trade, is like they always have to have long hair because the long hair will cover the shoulders, will cover the neck area, so you don't see the well-built trapezius muscles and you don't see how wide the shoulders are. All right? Some more pictures. Can you see the hand now? It's very close to her face, just like I said before. If you cut it off at the wrist and pull and straighten out these fingers and pull it into the face, it will fill the whole entire face up and will not leave. It will leave little or nothing at all. Can you see the elbows? A woman doesn't create this kind of sharp angles. Men create sharp angles, square and triangle angles all over their bodies, because that's the way they are designed. All right? Okay, more pictures. Look at the well long collarbone. Look at the strong neck with the hair covering so you can't see the whole width of the face, right? And like I said, I would have compared. You can see she has a very large face, right? Compared to George Clooney's. Well, we can't compare the skull faces because they are of different ethnicities. So if she was Caucasian or white, we would do a comparison on the skulls. But we can't do that. But you can still see it's a fairly large skull for an Arabian woman. Alright? Let's keep moving. There's another picture showing you how large her skull is. It's almost as big as Judge Clooney. The only difference why we can compare is because they're from different ethnicities. If she was Caucasian like George Clooney is, we would compare the skulls and you would see that both are male skulls. Alright? Okay? Some more pictures. Now see how she walks. Can you see the knees right here? Men have more kneecaps. Right? As I showed you earlier. Men create all sorts of weird angles around their kneecaps and joints because that's the way we are built. We have less muscle. So you see a lot of kneecap also. We have less fat in our bodies, especially if we're lean and fit. Alright? Okay, some more pictures. Can you see the good old wide neck right here? And how strong that neck is? Can you see almost the square face? Can you see the eyebrow ridge? You're looking at a male dressed up as a female because that's the way Judge Clooney likes them. Alright? He likes them to have breasts. Men to have breasts. Alright? Let's go further. Look at the hands again. See how long the hands are? See how masculine the hands are? If you cut, like I said, you cut it right here at the wrist and put it on this face, you would say how that it will cover the whole entire length of the face. You see the strong neck? You see this neck looks like it's been shaved off with an Adam's apple? Because I don't think she was born. It's just my thought. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this one. I don't think she was transgendered when she was young. I think she did this transgendering all on her own as she got older. But I might just be wrong. Right? I'm just saying. So let's move forward. Look at the hands again. See what I told you before? See how large the hands are? That if you pull this right over the face, it's going to cover the whole entire face? Because a man's hands covers his whole entire face and just leaves very little, if it leaves anything at all. Okay? Some more pictures. Look at that. Look at that face. Look at that well-developed shoulders, trapezius muscles, collarbones, which support the large male rib cage that men have. Men have a larger rib cage, okay? A wider, stronger neck to support the heavy skull. Okay? Some more pictures. Look at that knee angle. A female doesn't stand that way. You wouldn't see that kind of angle at the knees, all right? Because female have less kneecaps. They have less muscle around there. So it won't show the knee at this kind of angle. They have less fat. So males have less fat. Sorry to say that. Males have less fat. Women have more fat under the skin. Less of the kneecaps. Women have that. A female's knees should never be like this, showing that this is male and not female. And that's the way George Clooney likes them. He likes them men to have breasts. Okay? And look at the neck area, right? Can you see that? Can you see that? Don't be deceived by the long hair. You're looking at a dude. Okay? Some more pictures. Can you see the hands? Can you see the neck? The neck muscles? Can you see almost a shaved Adam's apple? Can you see how big the skull is? Alright? Some more pictures. There's another pic right there. Can you see how large the face is? See how strong the neck is, right? Can you see that? See how long the arms are? You're looking at a male. Some more pictures. Can you see that? Do women have this kind of legs? No. Can you see the neck area? Do women have this kind of neck? No. Can you see the arms? Do women have this kind of arms? No. You're looking at a male. Can you see that again right here? Can you see the face? Can you see the well-developed neck supporting the heavier skull of a male? This is how just George Clooney likes him. See the neck? Don't let the hair fool you. You're looking at a male. See the wide, strong neck to support the heavy skull of a male, the well-developed neck, trapezius muscles. She's hiding all those shoulders in clothes. And for someone who's married to a so-called sex symbol like George Clooney, she's got so much clothes on. Is that right? Let's move on. See that again? Now she has a little exposure right here, and you can see how wide the neck is. Can you see how wide the neck is? Can you see how wide the shoulders are and the collarbones? Can you see her face, her skull is almost as large as George Clooney's, right? But we can't compare them because George Clooney is Caucasian and she's Arabian. If she was Caucasian like George Clooney, we would compare the skulls and you would see that it would be exactly the same skull as George Clooney's. And it would prove to you that she's male. Because males have heavier skulls. Alright? Can you see that? She's trying to fool you with all the earrings and the hair, so the smile, so that you don't look, you get distracted and you don't look at the wide neck, right? And the big shoulders and the long collarbones, right? That's what she's trying to do, or that's what he's trying to do. This is how Judge Clooney likes him. He likes his dudes to have breasts. Let's keep going. And I think I've come to the end of the presentation. That's the last picture I have. So subscribe to the channel, stay tuned, and we'll bring you some more. You're going to understand your world. Your eyes, you're going to see with your eyes and understand with your brain. Because that is how we see. You only look with your eyes, but your brain has to see. If you look with your eyes and your brain doesn't see, then you're blind. All right? Thank you and stay tuned. All right.